Hey guys, Thomas the Genie here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Pet Sematary Bloodlines. If you end up enjoying this full movie review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my petition to help out smaller YouTubers. Second, there to my Patreon and PayPal where you can help support me and my channel directly. And fourth, to my Discord server you can join, collab, and chill and do all that cool stuff for free. And chilling will be reminded at the end of the review. With all that out of the way, let's get into Pet Sematary Bloodlines. So I had not seen any trailers for this. I know of Pet Sematary as I suppose now a franchise at this point, because everything's a franchise at this point, so, with this being a either soft reboot or just a follow-up to Pet Sematary, whatever they were on previously, here's my review for it. Not saying any of the trailers, but just coming across and going, okay, I'll watch it and review it as objectively as possible. So here we go. So the movie begins with us in a relatively small area where we follow Judd, our main character, and his girlfriend, whose name I don't remember, and I'm looking over here in my notes, I don't recall, but we get a bit of backstory about, where this used to take place in Maine in 1969. Nice year, by the way. But right out of the gate, I will say, for a movie called Pet Sematary, there is not a lot of pet in Pet Sematary Bloodlines. I will say that right out of the gate, and I'm like, movie. Okay. I mean, it's sort of like the point. And look, I know that previous Pet Sematary movies do involve bringing dead people back to life as part of that, but that's usually like at the end. This movie has that to be the main premise, with the Pet Sematary including a pet zombie being like it happening once and having one consequence in one scene in the entire movie, and that's it. And it's like, why do you even call your movie Pet Sematary at this point? It barely has anything to do with that anymore. I believe their catchphrase in this movie is like, you're better off dead or something, like, you know, or dead is better. Why not just call it that? Dead is better. That sounds like a nifty title movie. And, you know, that can imply any type of dead. That way, you don't have, you know, it doesn't feel inclined to be in a certain level of category. Whereas this, I'm expecting to see pets within the Pet Sematary being brought back to life, and then in accordance to that, only seeing one, I'm like, wow, you really, again, really not taking advantage of the title there. So yeah, we follow Judd, who's, he's a part of the city, where he's, in the small town city, where he's like, I want to get out of here, type of vibe, and the girl wants to get out of there, and they're getting ready to go out, but they hit something, and then they see, indeed, a dog that was brought back already. Once they bring this dog back to its owner, the dog proceeds to bite her in the arm, and once let go, he proceeds to take her back to the city, to its hospital, to get her treated there. And that's the only scene with a pet in Pet Sematary Bloodlines. I am not joking. Everything else involves Judd's former friend. He has two, Manny and one other named Timmy. Timmy went out to war, and this movie seems to have a heavy, like, inclination about war and all that stuff. I guess, like, the big reveal of the movie is that he died in the war, and that he was indeed among the ones that were brought back. And once brought back, he continued on what the Pet Cemetery does, in that it will mess with other people and draw other people in, and continue on that legacy through, as the movie implies, the bloodlines of the people that live there, the families and their descendants. So now with Judd being stuck there, and Manny being stuck there, and his sister, who their relationship seems to be... I'm not sure if they were trying to go for an incest thing, but boy, did they throw in some vibes that was making me go, I don't know about that one, Chief. You know? I'm just saying, look. Certain series like Game of Thrones and the old school stuff and I don't know, Arthur, like King Arthur material, old school. This is 1969. So, it's earlier on. So, maybe it is supposed to be indicative of something incestual. Again, I throw up my hands because there's only hints of it, or at least I picked up a vibe of it, and I can't, with any definitive proof, say, like, no, but it is, though, you know what I'm saying? But it does seem to come across as they're implying that there's a vibe. Anyway, point being, we're gonna move on. So, yeah, these three used to be friends, that being our main character Judd, Manny, and Timmy. Timmy being the one who's brought back, so the two other ones have to reunite and rekindle their friendship, as well as him getting to his girlfriend in time before his Manny's sister bites the bullet in the movie and gets killed off and brought back. And it's Timmy's father who ends up getting the job done in terms of killing that. So we have a group within our barn. We have like two randos in our main family group, as well as Manny, who's there. The two randos die because they're cannon fodder. The father dies, and Judd's all upset about it, obviously. And so we're left with Judd, his girlfriend, and Manny being the only three to make it out to the end of this ordeal. That being, they still have to overcome the circumstances of dealing with the undead, or, whatever you would want to call them, zombies, I suppose. Though they just seem to kill normally, and they do seem to have the capability of talking, so zombies with some level of intelligence at the very most. Anyway, I'm just seeing if there's anything else in my notes here. Nope. So, as I said, the three remain, and we see that due to this whole ordeal, the girl says, because they've been wanting to leave this whole time, and she seems to imply, now alongside with Judd, that they actually would rather stay there now, in the case of, and just in case if any newcomers were to arrive and be like, hey, this place is pretty nifty, and they are there essentially to be city wards to get people away from Pet Sematary to try to avoid it from happening in the future. Meanwhile, we have Manny, who drives off because he remembers his promise to his sister about wanting to leave in the first place. And as those three remain, we get our ending narration from Judd, where he does indeed say the line, "Sometimes dead is better," which seems to be the tagline for Pet Sematary at this point, I guess. Which, again, I think should have just been the name of the movie in its entirety, if I'm being quite frank. I mean, that's not even a bad name for a movie. Dead is better, like, or Sometimes Dead is better. I don't know, I think this is a pretty nifty name for a movie. Don't you think? Like, I don't know, I think that's a pretty cool name. Like, I'm just saying, and like, since, again, this has so little to do with pets, I'm like, well, again, I feel like that's a huge missed opportunity there. I don't know. So, yeah, I think this movie is on the weaker end in terms of all of that, from its lack of setup and really sort of driving home anything meaningful with its premise. To Yeah, I think the characters are pretty average to below serviceable in this, if I'm being quite honest. So nothing out of the ordinary here, unfortunate. So I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 10. I barely think it makes the mark of almost, I don't know why I would even push for a 5 out of 10. I'm not really sure why. So I'm going to stick with a 4 out of 10 for now. And that's my review of Pet Sematary Bloodlines. And if you ended up enjoying it, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my petition to help out some other YouTubers. Second, third to my Patreon and PayPal, where you can help support me and my channel directly. And fourth, to my Discord server you can join, collab and chill. And until next time, everybody, bye bye.